Muskan Rathore. I am currently pursuing integrated M.Tech, that is B.Tech plus M.Tech. This is my advanced Java assignment which is given and guided by our faculty Mr. Nitin Nagar sir. So let's see what topics we are going to cover. The topics to be covered: HTTP GET and POST method, and its handling of GET and POST requests we'll see, redirecting requests to other resources. In this we'll see sendRedirect method and RequestDispatcher and its method. And we also see its practical implementation. Now let's begin our tutorial. Now let's start with GET and POST method. What exactly they are? They are nothing but a HTTP request. HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It is designed to enable communication between clients and server. It works as a request response protocol between client and server. There are two most common HTTP requests or methods, which are GET and POST. These methods are used to transfer data from client to server. In GET method, you usually request data from a specified server, and in POST, you submit the processed data to a specified resource. To understand them better, let's see their comparison. In case of a GET request, only a limited amount of data can be sent. Why? Because data is sent in a header. That is, you can see the data you pass in a URL. While in POST request, large amount of data can be sent because data is sent in a body. That is, data is sent in an enclosed version you cannot see in a URL. So this is the very important and main difference between them. Now let's move to the next point. GET remains in the browser history, while parameters of POST are not stored in a browser history. GET can be bookmarked. You can easily bookmark the URL obviously, and in POST requests cannot be bookmarked. GET requests can be cached. These requests are never cached. That is, POST requests are never cached. GET have a length restriction, obviously, because it uses URL and URL have a length restriction, so GET requests also have a length restriction, while POST does not have any length restrictions of data. When to use GET? It is a default request type. Save the results of form submission. For example, you can submit data and bookmark the resulting URL. Many search engine uses GET. Type data in by hand. You can test servlets or JSP that uses GET simply by entering URL with the appropriate data attached. Now, when to use POST? When you want to transmit large amount of data that does not limited by URL, so you can use POST. When you want to some different kind of data like binary data, spaces, tabs which are illegal in URL, you can use POST. And obviously when you want to keep data private from looking over the user's shoulder, so you have to use POST. Now, handling of request in Java. Now we know client make requests to web server using HTTP protocol. To handle this HTTP request in servlet, we extend the HTTP servlet class and override the servlet methods. That servlet methods used to handle the HTTP request. That servlet methods are, let's see in this picture. That servlet methods are doGet and doPost. doGet method handles GET request and response, while doPost method handles POST request, as you can see in this picture. We'll see its practical implementation later on. Let's move to another topic, redirecting requests to other resources. Let's see this example. If you want to buy something online, or if you want to just book something, so what you do is you click on order now and you just get the congratulations, your order has been placed. This is what a redirecting does, as you can see in this example. How you can use and how you can do it in a servlet is, let's see this. There are several methods to redirect the request to other resources. One of this is sendRedirect method. sendRedirect method in a web application, it's actually HTTP servlet responses method which can be used to redirect response to another resource. It may be servlet, JSP or HTML file. It accepts relative as well as absolute URL. That is, it can accept POST URL, generated POST URL or generated GET URL. It works at a client side. It can work inside and outside the server. It always sends a new request. That is, you can see, first it makes a request to servlet 1, then it encounters sendRedirect method in which we had passed servlet 2 URL. it implicit response back. Then again new request, implicit request is generated, which goes on servlet 2, response is generated, and then the final response is go back to browser window. Now let's see another method or another way to do redirecting, that is RequestDispatcher interface. The RequestDispatcher interface provides the facility of dispatching the request to another respo. It may be HTML, servlet or JSP. What exactly it does, let's see it from this image. It makes a request to servlet 1, then a response generated, but then it encounters a forward method. The forward method just forward the existing request to servlet 2. Now the response is generated, as wholesome response is generated and sent back to the browser. So the forward method what it actually does, it does not create a new request, it just transfers the existing request to another servlet or another JSP, HTML, whatever it is. So the syntax of forward method is public void forward. Servlet request, it has two objects, servlet requests object and servlet responses object. Throws servlet exception and input output expression. Okay, so now we'll see the practical implementation of this. Okay, so now let's see its practical implementation. So I've already created my web dynamic project and I've named it as Edition Servlet App. In it I have made index.jsp. In it I have made form. In this form we take two integers, first integer and second integer. And this integer are passed to a method post, as I defined here, as you can see. So this post method will go on action addNum. addNum is nothing but a URL to my servlet I have made. The servlet I made is addnum.java. I'll show you. So as you can see in the servlet, there are two methods, doGet and doPost. These two methods handle doGet method and post method respectively. I have extended the HTTP servlet here, you can see. So now as we are using post method, so we'll write our code in doPost method. In post method, I have just taken the two integers and get that parameter that of that user entered in form, and I'll just do the summation of them like here. Now I'll just print make a object of print writer and just print the sum value. Let's run this code. So now our server is starting. And here it loads, takes some time. Now here I'll just write my first integer and second integer and I'll just perform add. As you can see, it gives sum is 7. But look at the URL. It doesn't pass any parameter in the URL. There is no data visible in the URL. So this is what post method does. Now let's see get method. So for get method, we are going to write get instead of post in a method equals to get. Now it's going to be same as before. Just you have to change this method equals to get addnum.java. In addnum.java, the same code I'll just copy paste it in doGet method. And let's see what doGet method does to it. I'm going to run it. It takes some time. As you can see now, this in first integer I'll just store the same number 3 and 4 and I'll just click add. Now the sum is 7, but look at the URL. In URL you can see that the data is passed and visible in URL. So this is what a get method does. Now let's see the practical implementation of redirecting methods also. For redirection, I'll just add a new field here, that is select an option, in which I have two options. One is for square of sum and mod of sum. And for this I have also created two servlets, squarenum.java, modnum.java. We'll see it afterwards, but let's first see addNum.java. In addNum.java, the only changes I did is I am going to take the parameter of that select. I have given it name as kel, and now I check if it is a square. I'll just use the sendRedirect method and redirected it to square num.java, as you can see here. Now, and this, if you are wondering about this, what is this? So this is nothing but the URL rewriting, because I want to pass the sum that is going to be calculated here to my square num.java. Now, if user enter the mod, he wants a mod of a sum, then I'll just make a RequestDispatcher's object rd, and I'll just redirect it to mod num. Now I want to send sum to this mod num.java too, so I'll use the method setAttribute, just like here I used it. Now this object rd is now forwarded to mod num.java by this method forward method. Now let's see what we have in square num.java and mod num.java. In square num.java, I've just written in doGet method. It is nothing but I'm going to take the sum into int k and then perform square of it, that is k into k, and just print it out. Square of sum is sk. Now in modnum.java, what I did is I also wrote it in doGet method, because we are using get method. Now in this I have just taken sum in int I and then perform the mod of it with 10. Now it's going to print the mod is plus mod. Now let's run this code. My server is already started, so I'll restart it. Now I'll just pass number is 14 and another one is 10. Now I want mod of sum. I'll just click add. As you can see, the mod is going to be 4, as 24% 10 is going to be 4. Now look at the URL. As we are using get method, so the values, the parameter are going to be passed here. So this is all about get and post and redirecting requests to other resources. If you have any doubts, you can comment me in comment box. So thank you for giving your precious time and have a good day.